So hey guys, while everybody at Band Smile is pretty much on holidays, I've decided to dig a few videos out of the archive and make something from it. Okay, this video is going to be about my first time in Pattaya. So I've been coming to Thailand for quite some time, but for some reason I never made it to Pattaya, and I was a little bit weird, and I always said, "Oh my God, I hate Pattaya." And that's kind of a clickbaity title. Why I hate Pattaya. And I still don't love Pattaya, but let's see how it worked out, and I'll walk you through some of the things, some of the 2 days that I spent there, with my lady friend, air quotes. All right, so let's get into it, guys. We took the taxi from Bangkok to Pattaya. It was about 1,500 baht. So that's about, what is it, about 50 US dollars roughly, maybe a little bit less. And it was the Loi Krathong festival. And it's the festival where you put the little flower boats, the little flower floating thingies on the water. And, we thought it would be a good time to go to Pattaya Beach. And so we did. And so we got some of these flowers, and I didn't know what to expect when I went into Pattaya first. Okay, the taxi took us straight to some hotel I just picked from a dartboard in Booking.com. We knew that it was going to be easy to find hotels. Hotels are going to be pretty much maybe half empty, maybe even more than a half empty, and that was the case. Although it was kind of crowded that night because a lot of Thai people, a lot of foreigners were out on the beach doing the Loi Krathong thing, and so we decided to do the same thing too. And the traffic was horrendous in Pattaya. This was about almost 2 months ago now. Okay. Traffic was horrendous. Oh my God, it was ridiculous. There were so many people. I think pretty much half of Bangkok was in Pattaya that weekend, or at least that night of the Loi Krathong. And as you can see on the beach, it was a really nice atmosphere. It was not more adult oriented. It was more family oriented. A lot of families were there. Lots of little kids were there. We were just kind of walking around and taking a look and seeing what was up. It was really beautiful. I think my old crappy iPhone that I've had for like 1,000 years now, yeah, it didn't do it really good justice, but I think you get the idea, okay, what it was like. The tide was low. It was really calm. Uh, and we had bought our flowers and everything like that, and now we're kind of trying to figure out how we're gonna get it down onto the beach, which was pretty far out and would have been difficult to go in there without getting our shoes and all of that wet. So while all this is going on, let me talk about why I hate Pattaya. Okay, and it's not that I really hate Pattaya. I don't really hate anything, right? It's the whole, how can I put it now? The whole attitude of Pattaya to me. I think this is what it's about. People, for me, Pattaya was just this place for, you know, uh, having fun, having a lot of adult fun. There's just a lot of sketchy people in Pattaya, and I haven't changed that opinion even after being there now. It's just, as my daughter would say, it's a lot of sus people, okay? And we're talking about foreigners now, okay? We're talking about Farangs. Um, and it's just, oh my God, it's just massage shops at every corner, at least in Pattaya Beach, in the Pattaya Beach area. I'm sure like in Jontian Beach and so on, it's not that so much, but here it's There are prostitutes on the street, we could see. There are lots of massage shops, which pretty much just a rub and tug type of situation, I can almost imagine. And oh, that's my friend now doing her little prayer thing, which is kind of awesome. I wish I knew what that was. But yeah, that's the kind of impression that I have of Pattaya in my mind. And just going there for this first time, it didn't really disabuse me of that notion. It was exactly what I thought it was. Maybe it's sort of a confirmation bias type of thing. I don't know, but hey, that's that's what I saw there, especially coming up to the next day, which we'll get into at some point. So you hear all these stories about Pattaya. You know, you hear about the mafia, and there's a lot of mafia present there, both Thai mafia. Hope nobody shoots me for making this video. I don't know. I don't know anybody from the Thai mafia or any other mafia for that matter. I'm an innocent guy. But there seems to be a lot of that. There's even, anything that they make movies about, and I watch a fair amount of Thai movies, and there's always a lot of, every time Pattaya is mentioned, the mafia, in any of the Thai movies, the mafia has got to be in it somewhere. Okay. There's always a story about guys from Australia getting arrested trying to ship drugs in and out of Thailand, and Pattaya is always mentioned into those stories. There's the stories of scamming and everything with the Chinese guys and all of that stuff, and Pattaya is mentioned in those news stories as well. It's that's one of the reasons why I just never bothered to go to Pattaya. Okay, but then again, a lot of my friends, when I say friends, I mean Thai people, always went to Pattaya for the weekend. So I said, hey, maybe I should go to Pattaya as well, and that's why we ended up going also. So yeah, that's the kind of concept that I have of Pattaya in my mind. Crowds, a lot of sexpats, um, all of that stuff. So as you can see, this night that we went is pretty crowded on the beach. There's tons of people. Um, a lot of cute little children. It's quite nice actually. I like to see that. Little kids, just by themselves around some kind of fire that they've made. These are young kids. I mean, we would not be allowed to do that in the back in the United States. They wouldn't allow little kids to make those fires by themselves and all of that stuff. Um, just walking around and looking is amazing how kids from other countries are just given the kind of free reign to just go and just be free out there without worrying about, hey, somebody's gonna kidnap my kid or something like that. It's almost like in Japan, you see little kids, maybe 6, 7 years old, taking the train by themselves, and they know exactly what to do, where to go, all of that. This is sort of a similar situation in Thailand. I would say Thailand is more conservative in terms of, accompanying their kids everywhere, which I see Thai people do. You don't see too many kids going off by themselves, but still, when they're in their neighborhood or in their homes or whatever, they're running around all over there. So that's pretty cool to see. I love seeing that. I love the kind of freedom that Thai kids have, that kids in Asia in general have, compared to back in the United States. I don't know if it's the same in other CUNA countries like Australia, New Zealand, UK, Germany, and so on, but here it's pretty nice. It kind of reminds me of how I grew up in Jamaica, being like totally free to go out of the house, come back in, all of that stuff, because our neighbors kind of knew who we were, and took care of us and made sure that we didn't get into any trouble. And if we did anything that wasn't quite right, on the streets, it would definitely be reported back to our father. And my father didn't really coddle us, you know. He's a kind of a serious man, which, you know, sometimes you don't appreciate that until you get much older. So, you know, everyone was having a really great time on that night. And this is not too long after the Delta lockdowns, I would imagine. Yeah, it was like a month. They hadn't even started test and go as yet. Okay. So, or they were just thinking about doing it and they finally did it. And, you know, it was just before that time. So people were still, this is like, I think, I would say the first kind of coming out of the lockdowns that we've been having in Thailand for, you know, ever since summer, really. You know, so yeah, that's it. Another thing that I found out about Pattaya is such a big international presence there. You know, there's a lot of Russians there. There are a lot of people from India, Pakistan. Um, Most of the European countries are represented. Not so much Americans as I would have thought. You know, Australians, of course. You know, and naturally the obligatory drinking, just tons and tons and tons of drinking all the time. You know, that's there as well. Okay, and we're kind of walking around now, looking at some of these little floral boats that they have, which are very beautiful. Actually, just take a look at that. That's really awesome. I love Loi Krathong. It's like my second or third year just experiencing this festival. Um, Last year was at a local temple in Swan Lawn area that's near Onnut and so on. It was pretty beautiful there too. And you know, so we were kind of walking around here, just going, finishing up on the beach, and we had already set. Somebody had actually. No, no, this is another thing. As I get into that, somebody actually, because we weren't able to go into the water because we had on our shoes and everything, and there were some people that actually took our flowers to put in the ocean, and we just give them like 20 baht. There were some little girls and boys and some adults too that was their hustle for that night. You know, they would take the flowers and put on the water for those people who didn't want to get their feet wet, which were quite a lot. So I think they made out quite well that night, you know. And I love seeing people hustle like that. I love seeing people taking the opportunity for to make some money all the time. You know, this is really a nice thing. And there was some kind of concert going on as well, where those flashing lights are. I hope there's nobody watching this video that has some kind of epileptic you know, condition or something like that, because you know, with all these flashing lights and so on, I think that's the police. But there was nothing wrong. It was just people, you know, they were just patrolling the Pattaya beach streets. So, you know, at this time we were kind of getting a little bit hungry. And one of the things that we'd actually gone into quite a few restaurants. I think we'd gone into like three different restaurants, and just nobody, the service was pretty bad. And it's not just us, it was just other people were coming in, walking in. And I just saw in Pattaya, the service is really bad in some places. It's like really bad for most places that we've seen, and then in some places really good. Okay, but it was just never as good as Bangkok at any time. Like a good restaurant in Bangkok, you're gonna get really awesome service. In Pattaya, not so much. Okay, I don't know why. It's my first time there, but it just happens to be the case. If you know, unless you're going to maybe some high-end restaurant or something like that, don't look for great service in restaurants in Pattaya. So we finally, you know, found a restaurant, a seafood restaurant. Was it seafood? Yeah, it was a seafood restaurant, or primarily seafood. Somewhere after going into a few other restaurants, and yeah, the food was pretty good. I really enjoyed it, and And there you go. We had some salmon, some fries, all of that stuff. Oh, that was chicken too, so that wasn't seafood, haha. And of course, dumplings. But it was a nice little restaurant. People were really nice there, and we had a good time eating some dinner, and then we went back to our hotel and had a good night. Next day, we went to the I think it was the Relax, yeah, Let's Relax Spa that was right on the beach as well, because we were right there. Our hotel was right near the beach. And we had a great body scrub. It was really expensive though. It was like three, four times as expensive as you would get in Bangkok. I think it was like almost 2,000 baht per person. Whereas in Bangkok, the same body scrub is like 400 baht or something like that. Crazy. But oh man, it was worth it. It was really great services. One thing, great service, but we had to have a COVID test. One of those rapid antigen tests. They actually gave one of those tests to us before we could go for treatment. But yeah, it was really nice. And then just coming out on the beach where your skin is feeling as soft as a baby. All of the crud and garbage and everything, removed, and it was a great time. Um, and we decided to take one of these song towels that you see in Pattaya Beach all the time and head over to the Tiger Park, which was about maybe a 15 minutes drive away. And maybe a little bit less than, yeah, about 15 minutes, I would say. And it was nice there. The only thing I didn't like was these sedated tigers. They had these tigers who were, I guess, maybe somebody could put in the comments if these tigers are just trained to be quiet or they're sedated. Some people say they are sedated. I don't know. But in any event, it was nice to see the tigers. It's a really small park, okay, but there are a lot of tigers there. And you can just go and just look at these tigers. And then there's like a little tram that goes into the tiger park itself. It's protected, so there are tigers roaming wild outside, and you're there. But it's really, really tiny experience. Is it worth it? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's great to see all these huge tigers that could just swallow you, and it's a great experience in Pattaya. I'd asked Chalida, who is our tour guide, to give me some tips, and she did, and this was one of them. And thanks, Chalida. If you want to have some fun around Bangkok or Thailand with Chalida, you can always book her on her site or in our description. So we had a great time there. Went back to the hotel. We were all wiped out by then and had a great night again. Okay. It's Pattaya, guys. You gotta have some fun, right? Next day, we went to this small island called Koh Lanta, which is just off Pattaya. That's my friend right there. And we took one of those speedboats. And the speedboat is quite an experience. It's a small boat. Maybe there's about 10 people, maybe 12 people in total on the boat. That's about the extent of what it can fit. We took the ride over to Koh Lanta, and the ride was kind of bumpy. The ride was, but it was quite an interesting. I've never been in one of these speedboats before either. I've just been in the big lumbering boats, huge boats that carry hundreds of people and maybe 50 cars. And the ferry is a more accurate term. And so we took one of these speedboats, and it was a nice experience going over, seeing what was going on, and the boats were full. It was a beautiful weekend, and it was really calm going over. And you can see the background, Pattaya there. That building, I think, is unfinished. It was never finished. It's like a reverse H chair building, I think, something like that. And yeah, so this is obviously very beautiful ladies in the boat with us as well. I tried to control my male gaze. It was kind of hard, but yeah. yeah, so it was a nice trip over. The speedboats, there are a few hundred baht. I think it was, I don't remember. I think it was 300 baht each way, or was it 600? I don't remember. I was just spending money like crazy that weekend. One of the things is that Pattaya is set up to just take your money. Seriously. It's like, that's the whole function of Pattaya. Take your money. Um, and hopefully you get something, hopefully you get something good in return. So you have to be kind of aware of that. Food is a little bit more expensive. Things are more expensive in Pattaya. I'm sure it depends on where in Pattaya you go. Closer to the beach, more expensive. Further away from the beach, more crappy and also less expensive as well. Our hotel wasn't bad. For a very nice room, it was about 800 baht for the night. No, it was actually 1,000 baht. Mixing it up with another hotel, and yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. One of the things with the speedboat as it got into Koh Lanta is there's no dock over there. You kind of, at least with these speedboats, you have to kind of jump off into the surf. Okay, roll up your pants if you're wearing long pants, which I did. Bad idea. And jump off into the surf, and you're onto this little island with this beautiful white sand beach. Oh my God, it's so bright, so white, so amazing that your eyes hurt after coming out of the shade of the boat. Beautiful. I mean, it was just amazing. And there, you jump up, and there's like one thing I would say about Koh Lanta is that it's totally disorganized. At least on first sight, you just come up, and then there's like, you're not sure what to do. You're not sure where to go. You're not sure of anything. Okay, so you go up there and you kind of spin around, take your view, take your bearings, and then you decide, okay, wow, what am I gonna do? So what we did, we ended up renting two motorbikes, and it's a small island, so it's, you get around. Those are the two motorbikes we rented. You get around it pretty quickly. There's this overlook where we had stopped to take a look at the view, which is, as you can see now, pretty amazing view. Oh my God, I'll never forget that view. We have a lot of, in my original country of Jamaica, we have a lot of views like this. We have a lot of things like this. So I kind of missed that, and coming back to Koh Lanta and seeing all of that kind of brought some memories back. It's pretty nice. Great experience if you go to Pattaya for a weekend. Going to Koh Lanta for a few hours, for half a day, is a good thing to do. So as I said, we rode around the island for I think maybe if you just ride on the motorbike, it's about you can ride the whole length of the island in about 30 minutes or less. It's some really steep hills. You're like, oh shit, how am I gonna get up? How am I gonna get down off that hill? But you do. The motorbikes are pretty solid. They keep them well maintained, and it's a great ride. It's a great experience. Just the freedom of riding and looking into this beautiful place. And then afterwards, we stopped into the main town and had a great lunch there. And then coming back, we had these two watermelon juices, which is completely amazing. My friend had to get her Instagram moments, of course, and waiting for your boat to go back. Yeah. So we had a great experience in Pattaya. I still hate Pattaya. I mean, I'm never going to live in Pattaya. I'll probably visit another weekend and not like this, but I don't see any reason why I should be spending time in Pattaya. Of course, I'm not the kind of party guy. Maybe you are. Maybe it's your thing. And this video is why I hated Pattaya. See you next time, guys. Bye.
What are you waiting for?
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 Yes, correct. What are you waiting for? The world may not be in a great shape right now, but it's very possible to come to Thailand. It's actually easier to live in Thailand for a longer time than it was before. With One Smile can get you the right long-term visa, find a perfect house, open the local bank account, or even open the business here. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below or go to bansmile.com and get started.